Uh, First of all, welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us this evening and for giving us your time. So we're the careers team here at Sparshott College and Andover College. I've gathered the team together here today so that we can introduce you all the resources that are available for your son or daughter to participate in while they're with us here at either Sparshott or Andover College. During this presentation, we will be recording, and this recording will be available on the Parents Careers website pages, so please do take the opportunity to have a look, as there are a lot of resources available to you on the website that can be found through both Sparshott and Andover website. So what I'm going to do at the moment is just pass over to our two careers advisors that we have here with us today. So that's Dave and Josh, who will be able to present to you all the resources available. During that time, the chat will be open, so please do take the opportunity to have put your questions in there, and I'll answer as we go along. And we look forward to hearing what Dave and Josh have got to say. Thank you.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Just waiting quickly for David to share his screen, which will have the PowerPoint that we're looking to deliver this evening. Broadly speaking, we're going to discuss kind of what is available for your young person, kind of what support we have available at the college, as well as some of the kind of things and tools that we use to support young people. So just give us a couple of seconds to share David's screen, and then we will be with you. Okay, perfect. So there's still some people that are kind of slowly being added to the lobby, but I will kind of get going. So firstly, to introduce the team that we have at Sparshott and Andover. Obviously, the introduction a couple of minutes ago was given by Laura Asbridge, who is our Director of Careers and Stakeholder Engagement. Laura is responsible for very much directing the careers team here at Sparshott and at Andover, and we kind of report to her, and she kind of drives our direction, I suppose. You then have the two qualified careers advisors at the college, which are David and Chloe, and they are available on kind of either campus to discuss kind of progression plans with students day to day. And then lastly, you have me. So I am what's referred to as the Sun Progression Mentor at the college. My role is a little bit more closely linked to progression to higher education. So looking at kind of university and some alternative qualifications as well. My role is slightly different in the respect that I work with specific students that generally meet widening participation criteria. I'm sure that if you guys want to discuss that further with me, I can kind of answer some questions in the chat kind of as we go through. But broadly speaking, that is the team, and we are very much kind of here to support your young person in their kind of progression route through college and beyond. Could I have the next slide, please, David? Perfect. So in terms of this evening, we will cover a range of different things. Firstly, we're going to cover the support that is available for your young person and look at their roadmap going forward. So what are the things that they are going to be doing term to term, depending on their level that they're currently studying at, and how can they progress. We'll then move on to discuss some of the careers tools and platforms. And over the last couple of years, we've invested quite a lot of money in lots of different tools that we can use to help students understand what it is they want to do going forward. We'll also discuss how to access the careers team. So how students can access us, how you can access us, and broadly speaking, how we can look to kind of tie those kind of knots together. We'll look at some pathways after college, and broadly speaking, that will be into employment, to university, or into an apprenticeship. We'll talk about some of the kind of key careers events that are coming up in the next couple of months and the year beyond. And then lastly, how you can get in touch with us, kind of broadly speaking. If you do have any questions, as Laura said, please pop them into the chat and one of us will answer it, as we're kind of not delivering any material. So to begin with, if your young person is a kind of level 1 or level 2 student, this is the roadmap that they will kind of experience during their time at Andover or Sparshott. In term 1 for level 1s, they're very much getting a welcome to college, and they're going to be encouraged to think about what their future careers might interest them. As they then move into term 2, they'll begin to meet with employers. Oh, sorry, it's skipped a slide. Bear with me, apologies. Thank you, David. So to go back, so if you are a level 1 or your young person is a level 1, in the kind of first term, they will be encouraged to begin developing kind of their study skills and start to think about their college journey. And then in the second term, they'll begin to attend careers events and start exploring kind of careers that are related to their interests. And then lastly, in term 3, they're kind of completing that level 1 qualification, and they'll be asked to think about what is next and how they can best prepare themselves to progress onto level 2. For those of the students that are then on level 2, they'll get a kind of welcome to that level 2 program, and they'll be encouraged to start thinking about employment or preparing for employment or another college course at the end of their current year. They are then in term 2, they're kind of nearly there. They've nearly completed what they need to do. They'll be taking assessments, taking exams, doing work placements, and basically getting ready for that kind of final step. Finally, then in term 3, they've completed their college course at level 2, and they are now either potentially moving on to level 3, or they're leaving college to kind of enter employment or start in an apprenticeship. So that is kind of their general progression route. If David then moves to the next slide for me, I can then talk about level 3. So for those students who are in level 3, they'll begin with a welcome to the college in exactly the same way, and they're going to be encouraged to think about their future plans going forward and the careers which might interest them. Apologies, I think there may be timing on the slides, which means that it will skip forward. So then during term 2, they'll begin to meet employers, attend careers events such as our destinations fairs, and start exploring more specific careers related to their interests. Then in the end of the first year, in that kind of final term, they'll be thinking about how they can then best prepare themselves for the step that they're preparing to take in their final year. In their kind of first term of their final year, we're going to encourage them to start their university application. They're kind of looking for apprenticeships and starting that application, or kind of searching and looking for jobs. And those kind of echo the 3 kind of key pathways that we see traditionally students go through. In the second term, they're almost there. They're kind of completing all the things that they need to do to complete their current qualifications, and we will kind of continue to support them with those kind of chosen pathways. Lastly, they've reached the kind of end of their time with us at college, and they're either now entering employment, they are kind of going to university and have kind of taken that step, or they're starting an apprenticeship in that kind of coming academic year. So that is broadly speaking kind of what we expect students to go through during their time with us. And it's our job as a careers team to kind of support them at all of these different stages. So in terms of how we can actually physically provide that support, we have a team of experienced careers staff who are able to support lots of different students with their careers planning and preparation for next steps. So if they are considering university, looking for a job, apprenticeship, we're here to help with that basically. So there is guaranteed one-to-one careers advice with qualified careers advisors. We are making huge kind of strides and advancements in using technology in our careers advice, including a virtual careers map, AI careers bots, and a kind of virtual reality 360-degree job tour kind of function as well. And I'll discuss that a little bit more in a minute. We have our UPP, or what's now referred to as our Scholar program, which is for kind of students who are applying for university. And we are kind of fully supporting them with the whole process. So that's everything from kind of helping them understand how they apply to looking at student finance, all of those kind of university progression options. We even have a university prep program or kind of scholar program for those kind of high aspiring students who are looking at kind of the higher and more competitive options, such as Oxford and Cambridge, potentially applying for medicine or kind of veterinary medicine. On the kind of other end, we also have kind of CV and job application workshops to help students who are entering those kind of employments, kind of environments, and advice and support for kind of job hunting and finding apprenticeships as well, which is something we found students have been very keen to engage with us over the last couple of years. Workshops on preparing for employment, including kind of LinkedIn, making sure they're kind of fully digitally ready to go into that environment, application letters, CV writing, and job searching as well. We have a dedicated careers kind of staff contact email at careers@sparshock.ac.uk. And what I would stress to you is, yes, that is there for the students to contact us if they want to kind of book in support or whatever that might be. But we would really encourage you, if you want to understand more information, please do get in touch with us using that email address as well. So in terms of some of the kind of careers tools and platforms that we've engaged with over the last couple of years, one of the key ones has been Unifrog. So Unifrog is a destinations platform that I'll discuss briefly in a second. But essentially, it's not just for those who are looking at university, it's for those who are considering kind of all different career pathways. And it's a really kind of useful tool that we kind of embed within our kind of provision of careers. We also have a very new, exciting kind of AI chatbot. So we have kind of specifically invested in a personalized progression plan, creating AI chatbot. And what that AI chatbot will do is it will enable students to have discussions with that chatbot, and it will help kind of make them, give them informed information about the choices that they are making. What is key to kind of suggest with that is that it is not providing kind of the overall arching careers advice. It will kind of embed within that they need to go and discuss their kind of next options with us as careers advisors as well. But what we found is that it's a really useful tool, given that it's so kind of digitally minded, that students are going to kind of really kind of relish the chance to use. We also have the career view and kind of virtual careers map as well. And basically those are kind of other digital platforms which will give kind of embedded virtual reality tours of specific environments. So students can get a very good understanding of kind of exactly what is available for them and kind of what it is going to be like to take a step into that specific career that they're looking at. Lastly, we have a students job board, which is a kind of area that we can kind of filter jobs to. So students are looking for both kind of part-time jobs as well as kind of full-time jobs when they leave us. There's lots of kind of advertised jobs there. And then lastly, our kind of body swaps, immersive experiences. So that is kind of another virtual reality tool that we've used with kind of specific virtual reality headsets. We've used it predominantly so far with health students, but what it essentially allows you to do is prepare once again for those specific work environments and gain some really important soft skills that will aid them in that kind of employment arena. So just to recap about Unifrog, we will be launching Unifrog with all our students in the kind of weeks to come. But it is not just for university. I appreciate that the name is Unifrog, but that can be quite misleading. It is a universal careers platform. That's where the uni part comes from. There is a range of careers videos, apprenticeship information, summer residential opportunities, and much more. It is a really, really useful platform, and we certainly direct all students that we interact with to the platform to gain more information. As I said, your young people will get a registration email relatively shortly that they can then access. In terms of where we are located, when we are at Sparsholt, and the students will know exactly where we mean when we say this, we are at the kind of base level of the Saxony building. So where the buses drop the students off in the morning, we are literally straight in front of them there. Our office at Sparsholt has lots of careers branding over the front, and there is even QR codes that are kind of printed on the windows outside, so students can book in appointments with us from there. At Andover, on the other hand, we are in the Professions building, basically opposite main reception, but in between main reception and the wellbeing department. So if your young person is a little bit lost and doesn't know where to go, if you say come to main reception, they will be able to direct them very quickly from there. We also appreciate that some students, given their kind of hectic schedules, and say at Sparsholt, they're only in for 3 days a week, and they tend to be in for kind of extended periods on those 3 days, that they don't always have the time to come in and see us face to face. For that reason, we also offer kind of virtual meetings as well, so they can book in to kind of call us via Teams. Next slide, please, David. And I will now hand over to David, who's going to discuss some of those kind of more those progression routes in greater detail.
Smooth transition. Oh, I'll just let Josh turn his sound down. Okay, good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to continue to admit people and do the kind of admin behind the scenes whilst I talk, so bear with me. But ultimately, as a careers team, our responsibility is to support all of the young people here at college with their next steps and to provide them with as much information as possible about what they're going to go on to do. It's not to guide them one way or another. It's not to convince them to do one thing or another, but it is to try and ensure that the choices they're making are informed choices. And ultimately, they've explored all of their options before they make a decision. So as you can see on the screen, higher education is one of the main kind of routes that students go to after leaving us, which is university based. Apprenticeships, predominantly degree apprenticeships if students have completed a level 3 qualification, But if they're looking to change routes and go in different directions, then the level of apprenticeship they can start can vary. So this is also something we can help each individual student. And then the employment progression, that those students that don't choose to carry on with education when they hit 18 obviously seek employment. So we have lots of resources to support students with their employability skills and to ensure that they are prepared for those next steps. So in terms of UCAS, there's some key dates and information that you need to be aware of to support your young person with their journey. If they are looking at applying for highly competitive programs like medicine or going to highly competitive universities like Oxford and Cambridge, then the deadline for their application is the 15th of October. If they're looking at Russell Group universities or other universities, then the deadline for their application is Christmas time. We like to get all applications in before Christmas so that we have plenty of time to support that process. The application form can sometimes be a little bit complicated and confusing, and it's making sure that it's all good before it gets sent off. So we can provide support through one-to-one sessions. We do group workshops. We've been doing group workshops this week and last week with year 2 students who might be going off to university. So those kind of support processes are already ongoing, and there's a link at the end of this presentation for booking appointments. In terms of personal statement support, we've got lots of resources to help students with their personal statements. There's been a slight change to how personal statements work this year, so ensuring that students understand those changes and are able to cope with the demands of those personal statements is also really important. So Joshua, myself and Chloe are on hand on both campuses in order to support that. Where we also look to kind of support students is with their references, so they can link their account, their UCAS application to the college. And once they've linked it to the organisation, we can help organise their reference and get that all sorted before they submit to UCAS. So yeah, an important process, but we've got a couple of months to try and get it sorted. But if your young person is considering university next year, then it's important that you encourage them to make an appointment and come and see us as soon as possible so we can get that started with them. In terms of apprenticeships, and I'll leave this one on the screen for a minute or so, these are the top 5 websites in the UK for looking for apprenticeships. The top one obviously is the government website, which is all apprenticeships in England can be found on this website, or should be findable on this website, but not all companies use the kind of same websites in order to advertise. So there are 2 main forms of apprenticeship when you are looking for them, and I kind of personally I categorize them into what I think of as a private apprenticeship or a public apprenticeship. So a public apprenticeship is an apprenticeship that is advertised publicly to everybody and anybody can apply for it. In that situation, they're highly competitive. They could get applications from all over the country and they're looking to find the best candidates possible. A private apprenticeship, or what I think of as a private apprenticeship, is the more traditional method of apprenticeships where you approach an employer, you maybe already work for a company and they endorse the apprenticeship for your young person and they kind of have that arranged directly with the organisation. They're less competitive because obviously nobody else knows about them, and much more likely for your young person to secure those apprenticeships in that method. Both are possible, but the apprenticeships are less availability than there is demand at the moment. So if your young person is seeking an apprenticeship, it's important that I think it's important to touch base with us and also employers locally as early as possible to secure those apprenticeships. So in terms of the careers service and events that we have, so we've got our first careers event next week, which is the SpaSholt Careers Fair. So for all the students on the Sparsholt campus, we'll have employers and universities coming to talk to students about various industries, various job roles, and they can get a real first-hand idea of the sorts of things they can look to go on to do. The Andover Careers Fair is in March, which ties in with the National Careers Week. And again, we'll have universities and employers coming into the college in order to talk to students. Futures Week is a college event that looks to upskill students in various transferable skills. So this is delivered by the curriculum teams, and it's aimed to try and upskill students in those particular areas that benefit them within the industry they're looking to go into. So science will run specific events for students in science who are looking to go into careers in science, and so on and so forth. In terms of other events that we've got going on, as you can see on the screen, we've got a STEM careers event planned for this year, which is science, technology, engineering and maths. So hopefully students looking for careers in those industries can access some really good information. External trips tends to be run by the curriculum teams. So students will go on trips with their individual curriculum areas, the specialist venues and activities and organisations that work in those areas. Student finance, there will be a talk on student finance. I think we've got 2 planned, one this side of Christmas, but then the one after Christmas will be more kind of beneficial because student finance opens when the deadline in January passes. So we tried to put a student finance talk in just after that deadline passes, so it's really fresh in the mind and you can access all the information you need. So as Josh said, the careers email address is there. Skip forwards a bit. So that's monitored daily by all of us, and we all have access to that. So if you want to get some information quickly, emailing that email address is the most effective method. In terms of one-to-one appointments, so this link is set up for us as an organisation. This is directly to Chloe and myself. So anybody can book an appointment with Chloe and myself. So parents, you can book this appointment, and you can even come with your young person if you want to come and have a conversation about kind of next steps and what they're looking to achieve and go on to do. But equally, the young person can just book it themselves and come and have a one-to-one as often and as frequently as they would like to throughout the year. In that, obviously, in benefit, as long as it's benefiting them and not just a general conversation. We're looking to, because we only have a finite amount of time and a lot of students, and we want it to be as beneficial as possible and to support as many students as possible.